Hi, I want to welcome you to the Jewels of Health series again. Today we're going to talk about cauliflower. We're in the early stages of cauliflower growth, but I wanted to show you that, even though we're going to talk about it a little bit later after it's able to be harvested. So I'm Diane Mason. I'm with the Boone County Cooperative Extension Service, and I'm one of the Family and Consumer Sciences Extension agents. With me today is David Kester, and David is our horticulture agent with the Boone County Extension Office. And he's going to share with us some great information about growing and harvesting and taking care of cauliflower.
Okay, well, cauliflower is a mainstay in the garden as well as some of the others, and these are brassicas, and we have a number of them out here at our garden center plot, and we've got broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale, and collards out here. And what we did is we harvested some beans out of this row. They were finished, and we came back and we planted cauliflower in that. Now, this is towards the end of August, and you might be wondering, well, that's a dumb time to be planting all these cool season vegetables. In Kentucky, it's the best time to be planting these cool season vegetables. And these were planted about 2 weeks ago, and you can see I've got quite a bit of growth on them. And this cauliflower is a 45 days after transplanting to maturity. So it should mature during the cool season of the year, which is what we want. Cauliflower actually works better as a fall crop in Kentucky than it does in the spring. In the spring we get, we have that nice warm weather early, and then it gets hot, and cauliflower just doesn't like that, and it will bolt. And what bolting means is it will not form a head, it'll just go directly to seed. Mark Twain said cauliflower was nothing but a cabbage with a college education. And I like cauliflower, and I think it's a really fun vegetable. It is a little bit harder to grow than some of our other vegetables because it really likes cool, and it likes cool weather for an extended period of time. In your home garden, when you harvest a crop, it's really a good idea to add some compost to that soil, maybe work it up a little bit, add some fertilizer, and plant another crop in there. When this plant gets much larger and it starts to form a small tennis ball size head of cauliflower in it, growers will then take the outer leaves and they'll tie them up over it, and that's called blanching. And I have seen pictures of field workers, and they have rubber bands all up and down their arms, and they're out in the fields and they're just grabbing those and putting them on there, and it just blanches them. And it makes a really white cauliflower, which is what we want. And when you go to harvest it, it should be about 10 to 12 inches in diameter, and just cut that off. We've got a table full of cauliflower heads here that have been picked, and most of these we purchased at a grocery store. But this one was actually grown in Boone County, and I don't know if you can tell or not, but it's starting to yellow a little bit, and it's kind of, I don't think this was blanched as well as it should have been, and it should have had the leaves pulled over to the top so that we get a beautiful head like that is pure white. Now you're probably saying, well, what's this one? And this is a purple one, and it is a good cauliflower, and they do come in purple, and you can get them that are bright orange as well. This is a cross between cauliflower and broccoli called Romanesco. A lot of people love the flavor of this. This one I bought because it was so huge, but it is a Chinese cauliflower, and it is starting to go bad a little bit. You could still use most of it. All the information about growing cauliflower is contained in the Home Vegetable Gardening book, and you can get this by just calling our office and requesting ID 128, and we'll send it to you.
Okay, David, thank you so much for that great information. I do have a couple questions for you. I've heard this referred to as the curd.
It is.
So sometimes we call it a head?
Yes.
Sometimes we call it a curd?
Yes. And when you all of it is, all these are actually little small curds, and when you break it up maybe for dip or something, those are each one is a curd.
Okay, so if I let this stay in my garden and grow, and I don't harvest it, what What happens to it? Does it become a flower or?
It will eventually just really open up, turn color, and start to deteriorate.
Okay, so I really don't want that to
You
happen.
don't want that to happen.
All right.
No.
And then the leaves. Can we eat those or?
I'm sure you can. It's all, we eat collards, which is in the same family, which are leaves. All that can be eaten. I don't know how tasty they are, but I'm sure they're definitely not poisonous.
Okay, so I've seen some people put them in stir fry and things like that.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
But I wouldn't do it. I guess if it was really dirty or
No.
really insect eaten.
Right.
So, all right. Any other tips you might have on cauliflower?
No, just try some. I think it'll be a lot of fun in your garden.
Yeah, cauliflower seems to be the in vegetable anymore, with cauliflower steak and riced cauliflower and mashed cauliflower. So we're going to take this into the kitchen and we're going to talk about using cauliflower in our kitchen. So I'm going to go ahead and take this over to the kitchen and I will see you over there.
All right.
Hi, I'm Diane Mason with the Boone County Cooperative Extension Service, and welcome to Vegetables, the Jewels of Health. Today we're going to talk about cauliflower, and cauliflower seems to be in the mainstream these days. Everybody's using it for everything from pizza crust to mashed cauliflower in place of mashed potatoes or potatoes, buying cauliflower pearls or riced cauliflower and using it as bed of for other vegetables or entrees instead of rice or potatoes or some other starchy vegetable. It's a great vegetable, but in terms of nutrition, it is comparable to other vegetables. It doesn't really have any phenomenal nutritional value that would put it way above other vegetables. It's great, it's a good vegetable, it's got a lot of good nutrition, it's low in fat, it's low in sodium, has some vitamin C, has some potassium, has fiber, and it also has some compounds in it that have that sulfur type compound, and those are good phytochemicals or antioxidants that can help reduce the risk of some diseases. So it's a great vegetable. We're going to talk about it today. Just know that it does come in some different colors. We have some, this is a cauliflower that was locally grown at the Boone County sold at the Boone County Farmers Market. This happens to be called Chinese cauliflower. Then we have our white cauliflower. We have some purple cauliflower back here, which you can find periodically. It also comes in orange, and you can find green cauliflower. This happens to be a cross between broccoli and cauliflower that a lot of people like. It is available periodically, and if you ever find it, give it a try. So we're going to get started on doing some cauliflower talk. Okay, we're going to talk about cauliflower, and I'm going to show you how to clean a cauliflower and cut it up. Okay, so my first step is to break off the outer leaves. If these leaves are in good shape, you can use them. I would scrub them and clean them really well and cut them up. You could use them in a stir fry or something like that. It's just going to have that cauliflower flavor or that cabbage flavor. Just going to break these off, or you can put them in your compost pile. It'd be great to add to a compost pile. So at this point, I've not yet washed this. I usually wait till I get all of the outer leaves off before I wash my cauliflower. I try to get down to the curd or the head, which is what this is, the white part on this particular cauliflower. And I have a pretty big stem here, so I'm just going to go ahead and trim that off so that I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. And at this point, I'm going to take this to the sink, wash it really well, run water down underneath. In fact, I'm going to cut this out just a little bit more with a little paring knife here. You can eat the stem. You don't have to throw that away. I usually take off the part that has the leaves attached. So try to get down to just the good part, or not just the good part, but get down some more. So I've taken off the leaves, I've cleaned most of that up. Now I'm going to run water down in here and run water, try to separate it a little bit and get as much water as I can to get all of this rinsed off. So it's just cool running water. Does just fine. If I have a brush, I can brush the outer side of it just to make sure I get all the bacteria off. So I'll be back in just a minute with a nice clean head of cauliflower. Okay, so I've washed my Romanesco, which is a cross between broccoli and cauliflower. A lot of people like it. It does look kind of weird. It kind of reminds me of dinosaur age somehow. But I'm just going to break off these florets, and I'm going to steam some. So what I want to do is I want to try to make sure my florets are all about the same size, and that way they get done at the same time. So very simple. It was the same as cleaning up the cauliflower. Just trying to cut out this tough inner stem, break the florets off of it. And this would look really nice on a dip tray too. You could eat this raw or cooked, either way. And I have some water heating. And I have a little steamer basket in my pan, and that way I can lift my vegetable out right after when I'm done steaming it, and I don't have to fish around in the water for it. You could also boil this or microwave it. So any way you want to cook it, it will work. A lot of people will also roast cauliflower. You could try roasting this. I've never tried that before, but I'm sure it would be fine. To roast, all you do is you add a little bit of oil to this, lay it out in a single layer on a sheet pan or a cookie sheet, and roast it in the oven at 450 degrees until it's a little bit tender and a little bit brown. And roasting tends to intensify the flavor of the vegetable. So we'll put this on and cover it up. We'll bring that water up to a boil, and then we'll let it steam. Okay, so we're going to use some of our purple cauliflower. We're going to steam it so that you can see what it looks like after it's been cooked. This has some damage on it, starting to decay. So if possible, I would just cut that off. We're just going to trim that off and not use that part. Just because don't really want to, it just doesn't look nice, and it's not going to get any better when I cook it. So just trim that off. And then again, I've already cleaned this. I washed it, cleaned it. This is kind of white on the inside. And I'm going to cut this into some florets or some pieces, kind of this, about the same size pieces. And again, I'm going to steam this. I could certainly do this in the microwave. Or again, you could roast this. Really doesn't have much different taste. The phytochemicals in it are more just because it's a different color, and the more colorful the vegetable tends to have more phytochemicals in it, so it has a little bit different nutrition profile, but in terms of vitamin A and C and those types of things, really not that much different. And it's still fat-free, cholesterol-free, all of those things that cauliflower is. I'm gonna turn on my burner over here, and I've got another steamer basket going. And I've got about an inch of water in the bottom there. So I'll add this to my steamer basket. We're going to steam it until it is tender when I put a knife in it. Really shouldn't take all that long to cook. And my green Romanesco is cooking in this pot. It's already starting to change color until it's already starting to cook. So we'll come back when these are ready to go. So we've had our Romanesco cauliflower cooking in the steamer for a little while, and checking it, we can see that the fork easily goes into it. So it's done. So I'm just going to pull this little steamer basket out and put this over in my bowl, make it easier to handle, and let that cool down just a minute. Although if I were serving it, I would definitely serve it hot. But here we go. So that's our Romanesco cooked, and we could just add a little bit of salt or pepper, butter, really any kind of topping. A little bit of ranch dressing sprinkled over the top would be good. But that's our Romanesco cooked. And then our purple cauliflower is also ready. And we've had it in a steamer basket also. I'm just gonna pull that out. Y'all are gonna think that I have Teflon hands, and yes, I do. Very, very heat tolerant hands. So again, this is our purple, and I can spear it with a, I don't want to overcook it. When I overcook it, it's going to change color, and it's just not very attractive. So I really do just want it tender crisp. I can certainly pick this up with a fork. It's fork tender. And again, just add any seasoning or any spice that you want. Okay, we're back with cauliflower again. This time we're going to use a white cauliflower, and I just need to chop it up because I'm going to make the creamy cauliflower and roasted garlic soup that's in your publication of the Jewels for Health vegetable study, home study. So I just have a head of cauliflower. I've already washed it. I made sure I tried to separate the head a little bit. I washed the bottom. I've already cut off the leaves. I can do a little bit more trimming. But as a general rule, with the soup, it really doesn't matter what it looks like. I don't have to make sure that I cut it into florets. I don't have to worry much about anything because it's all going to get chopped up and then pureed. So just need to chop it some. I need about 3½ cups or 1 pound. You can weigh the cauliflower at the store, but realize that you're going to lose some of it when you take off the leaves. So I just want some chunks. Put it in my bowl here. Cut up the rest of this. I usually use about a head, not a big head, not a really small head like this one, but a medium-sized head is usually what I use for this soup. And I might use the golden cauliflower for this. I probably would not use the purple because I really don't want purple soup. But I suppose if it were Halloween or some other special occasion, you could always give it a go. Not sure what your end result would be. So simple, easy, chopped up the cauliflower. Again, it didn't have to look pretty. It just needs to be chopped up. Okay, we're gonna make our creamy cauliflower and roasted garlic soup. I went ahead and I measured out the cauliflower that I needed. And so we're also gonna use an electric pressure cooker for this. You don't have to use an electric pressure cooker or a pressure cooker at all. You can certainly do it on the stovetop. The only advantage to this is it cuts down the amount of time needed to cook it. And kind of fun if you already have this appliance in your house. So we're going to heat up, or we're going to put our 2 teaspoons of oil in our pan. We're going to put in leeks. This is 2 leeks that have been cleaned and cut. Now add our cauliflower. 3½ cups or about 1 pound of cauliflower. And again, if I was cutting up a head of cauliflower and there was a little bit left, I'd go ahead and put it in. It's not going to hurt. It's just soup, so I wouldn't worry about it. Put in my salt and my pepper. This is white pepper, and we're using white pepper because if we use black pepper, it will show as little black specks, and people will think that you have bugs in your soup, and you really don't. Instead, we're going to use thyme, so I'm going to go ahead and put my thyme in. Then I have 2 cups. We're going to start with 2 cups of chicken broth. If I need more, I have it ready to go, but I'm going to start with this and see how thick my soup is at the end. So I'm going to put my chicken broth in here. And then I'm going to add my roasted garlic. So I roasted this head of garlic, and all I have to do is squeeze out the roasted garlic part. And your hand gets a mess, but that's okay, because that's cooking, isn't it? So I'm squeezing out the meat of the garlic bulb. And roasted garlic has a totally separate flavor from fresh garlic. So let me go wash my hands really fast, and then I will get this started. Okay, so I have all my ingredients in so far that I need to have. I'm going to put my lid on and turn it to lock it. Then I'm going to hit soup. And I need to double check and see how long I have to cook this for because I never remember. So let's cook it for 10 minutes. So I want to cook it on high pressure for 10 minutes. And this one starts on its own. So it will start. You will see the time going, but it's not going to start counting down until it comes up to pressure. I made sure that I have my lid lock in place so that it will build pressure. So after 10 minutes and after it starts beeping, we will come back and we will be ready to puree our soup. So our cauliflower and roasted garlic soup is coming to an end. We have less than a minute left on our timer, and when we are ready, when the timer goes off, I will release the pressure and allow it to come back down to 0. I'll open the lid, we'll add our milk and our Parmesan cheese, blend it up, and we'll be ready to have some soup. So there's our timer. Just going to turn this off. So all I do is I turn this, I'm going to release the steam. We can't take the lid off until the steam is completely down and the pressure is returned to 0. So nothing I can do to make this lid or make it go any faster. There we go. Now I can open it. And it's going to be hot. It's very hot. It's boiling. So I'm going to make sure that I open the lid away from me so that I don't end up with a steam burn. I'm going to set my lid over to the side. All of my vegetables are cooked very well. And my recipe tells me to add 12 ounces of non-fat evaporated milk. A little healthier than cream. This also will not curdle, so we don't have to worry about that. And I'm going to puree this before I put the cheese in. And this just happens to be an immersion blender, so I don't have to move it to any other piece of equipment. Okay, and I like to leave just a little bit of chunky cauliflower in my soup, if I can, instead of pureeing it all the way down. I will look at how thick this is, or actually I'm going to put my cheese in. So this is a Parmesan cheese. Stir that in so that it melts in. And I look at the consistency. If I don't think it has enough liquid in it, I do have more chicken broth to add. Or if it's too thin, then I would have to put it back on saute and let it boil down some more. I would have done that before I added the cheese. This looks really good, so I'm going to dish up some. And I have a little sprig of fresh thyme right here. I can put a few thyme leaves on just to add a little garnish, little extra. And enjoy. It's a great winter soup. It's a great soup. It's got a lot of vegetable in it. It's good for you, and very simple and easy to make. And like I said, you can make it on the stovetop in just a regular pot. You can make it in a multi-cooker. You can make it in a stovetop pressure cooker. Any way you want to make it. Give it a try and enjoy sometime this winter. Okay, so we're wrapping up our cauliflower lesson. Thank you for joining it. I just wanted to remind you that we have different colors of cauliflower. We cooked some cauliflower in a steamer. You can also do it in the microwave. There are a lot of products on the market today that have cauliflower in them. My only advice to you on this, whether it's cauliflower pizza crust or cauliflower pizza, these happen to be crackers, is to take a look at the ingredient label and see where cauliflower falls in the ingredient list. Remember that ingredients are listed from most to least. So if cauliflower is near the top, it means it has a lot of cauliflower in it. If it's near the end of the list, it doesn't have very much cauliflower in it at all. So just take a look at that before you go out and start buying things and think that they're wonderful because they have cauliflower in them. We made some cauliflower roasted garlic soup, which is yummy. And then I just wanted to touch base just a little bit. You can buy riced cauliflower or cauliflower pearls. A lot of recipes now are calling for cauliflower rice or cauliflower chopped up. You can do that in a food processor. Just use the grating disc on that, or you can use a handheld grater, either way. Sometimes it will tell you to cook the cauliflower a little bit to soften it up and then get rid of as much moisture as you can. Remember, a lot of vegetables are up to 70% water, so there is a lot of water in cauliflower that we don't think about. You can either take a clean dish towel and put the cooked cauliflower in it and squeeze it to get the water out, or you could possibly buy a ricer. This is called a ricer, so you put the cauliflower in there and squeeze. That's kind of handy sometimes to get the water out of cauliflower too. So, or you can buy it here. You can buy frozen. Frozen's already going to have some water that's going to come out of it just as the nature of thawing. So I encourage you to try different cauliflower, try to find some different recipes. Enjoy it. It's a great vegetable. It is a fall crop, so it does come into season again in the fall. But in America, it's available year-round. So good thing to eat, very versatile, a lot of fun to try, and we have a lot of recipes for it, but we shared a few with you in our publication. So thanks for joining us for Jewels of Health, and grab some cauliflower and enjoy the rest of the day.